And we are live. I'm so excited to be here. It is Thursday, November 9th, and I'm super excited to continue this series of how to find your wedding vendors. It's going to keep going. I have so much to share, and I'm just excited that you guys come. And I've also been receiving questions. So that's cool because now I can provide even more content. So keep sending your questions if you have any. Don't ever feel like a question is dumb or anything like that. You never know, you could be helping someone else. So, excuse me. The last time I was on, I talked about how to find your wedding vendors using social media. And I talked about using Facebook and Instagram and using hashtags and basically being very specific with what you're looking for, because Facebook and Instagram is full of so many people, and it's easy to get lost in the sauce, as they say, right? So this week I'm talking about how to find your vendors using the internet. Now I know someone might say, wait a minute, well, last time you were talking about finding them using Facebook and Instagram, but those are just social media platforms that are on the internet, but the internet is bigger than that, right? So if you guys ever heard of anything called Google, right? Yeah, well, there's this thing called Google that everybody uses for everything. And so I'm going to talk to you about internet resources to find your wedding vendor. So I have my list over here. So if you see me kind of darting my eyes this way, that's why. And if I can, I might have to start it over, but that's okay. I'm going to show you guys how you can really look and not get lost. So if I have to split it into two videos, that's fine. I want you to be able to see it. So let's get started. So the first place that you can go is on Google. And kind of similar to what I was saying about being on Facebook and using Instagram, for example, to find wedding vendors, you want to be specific and you want to search a specific location. So I'm always going to use Orlando, Florida, because it's just easier and it helps me to stay on track when I'm talking to you guys. So if I was a bride and I'm looking for a wedding vendor using the internet, I'm going to be specific. And so I'm going to use verbiage like Orlando wedding photographer, or Orlando wedding videographer, or Orlando florist. I'm going to be very specific. And I'll tell you this much, the more specific you are on Google, the better it is, because you'll find, I guarantee you, if you type in Orlando wedding photographer, dark and moody, or just real specific to what you want, I guarantee you will find that. A lot of photographers know how to get to you as well, so it's probably somewhere in their verbiage. So you might find your perfect match by being specific with the keywords that you use in your search. So that's the first thing. So like I said, another keynote that I wanted to add to that when you're specifically searching is something as simple as adding an S and taking off an S can change what is brought back to you through your Google search. So if you're typing Orlando wedding photographer with no S versus typing Orlando wedding photographers with an S, you will get a different result from your searches. And so I wanted to share that with you because it can change who comes your way. So for example, if I was to open up a screen and go on Google right now and search, which I'm going to do in the second part of this. So I'm going to get through this part and then I'm going to show you guys how to, as if I was a bride. Jeez, me a tongue twister. Okay. So if I was to do a search and I type Orlando wedding photographer, it's going to show different people on those pages compared to Orlando wedding photographers with an S. Different people are going to show up as well. Now you may find some of the same people, and that has to do with keyword search as well. But I just want you to know that's really important. So don't get confused if you type Orlando wedding photographer and then maybe the next day you go back on Google and you just happen to type Orlando wedding photographers and you get different people and you're like, what did I do wrong and where did this company come from randomly? It's because you type the word differently, so it's going to give you different results. That's one thing about Google, like in general, it's very specific. So the more you are with specific keywords, the more you're going to get what you're looking for, okay? So that's the first thing. The next thing that you can find on the internet, which is like super, super cool, because I do it too, are blog resources. This is a great way to find a wedding vendor. There are a lot of photographers blog, a lot of videographers blog. Their blogs may be slightly different where it's like maybe a paragraph that kind of summarizes what happened and then they want you to watch the video. Their platform is different. And because I do both, I can explain that to you and it makes sense. I don't want you to ever go to like a videographer's blog and like they never write anything or they have nothing to say, because a lot of what they want you to see is in their actual video production. They don't want to put everything into words because you'll either leave because it's too much or it kind of takes away. That's more so what you would see on a photographer end. But on the flip side, I have seen some photographer blogs who have like one sentence or even like 3 paragraphs and 2 pictures for their blog. So everyone's blog is going to be different. I'll tell you this much, you are going to lean towards whatever blog pulls you in. So whoever you connect most with, that's the blog that's going to resonate with you. Like I said, I have met people who found me because I did an episode on beauty. Like I'm really big on being yourself and how beautiful that is. And so I decided to do a series. It was very, like I posted about it like a week ago or a few days ago. I was very nervous about coming out with that topic because, you know, I'm a wedding and events photographer and cinematographer that also educates other photographers, cinematographers, and small business owners on video marketing, right? So it's like, who's she to talk about loving yourself? But I know how important that is. And I know that's a message that I push to my brides like naturally. So I was like, why not just put it out to everybody because it's important, right? Okay, so don't be discouraged if you go to someone's blog compared to another photographer, videographer, or whatever vendor you're on. For example, like Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals, they blog, which I think is totally awesome. They're a party and rentals company, and they blog about like what kind of items they have, how you can, they have a blog that's super smart and cool. Like they have a blog about corporate events and how you can make your corporate events elaborate by having rental items instead of just having like just plain old venue with the whatever the venue curtains are, you know, to begin with. And I was like, that's a smart blog, because a lot of people may not know that, okay, just because you see a lot of rented things at other shindigs or whatever, that, oh, if I have a corporate event, can I, you know, rent there as well, or, you know, rent items for that as well. So that was a very smart blog that they put out. Okay, so I started with Google, which is your first search. Remember I told you about the specific words, and then your blog. One piece of advice that I'll give you is when you're looking at a photographer's blog, they might have different categories. Some have 5, some have 7, some have 13, some don't have categories, and they go by tags. And what that means is like they'll use hashtags. So they might have a category that says wedding photographer, florist, wedding day, whatever was relevant to like their category of posting of all their blogs. Their tags may be how you kind of figure out what you want to read on their blog. And I'll show you guys in the second part of this that I'm going to do when I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you guys what that looks like. But right now I'm just giving you the tools to get started. That's how I teach all the time. Even when I teach my students, it's always tools first. I can't give you all this meat and you don't know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so blog is the next thing. And then last but not least, if you know me, you know it has to be on the list, video resources. Look for videos on wedding planning, or your, you know, like if you have a photographer, I'm just gonna use photographer to keep it simple. If you have a photographer in mind, look at their videos that they use to talk to you. That will show you a lot about them. That will show you a lot about how they carry themselves, how they operate. Look at their testimonial videos. Things like that are a way to connect with them before like meeting them. And you'll really be able to see like a lot about their brand, a lot about them, a lot about how they handle the wedding day, a lot about the client experience. So like I said, I will show you guys how to do a real search. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to cipher through the blog categories. And then I'm going to show you videos that you can look at to help you determine or just kind of get a feel for what it's like if you were working with photographer X or whatever, okay? So those are like real quick resources that you can use. And so what I'm gonna do now is, don't go anywhere. I'm switching so that I can show you, as if I was a bride, what it's like to go searching on the internet, because that's this week's topic is searching for vendors using the internet. Last week was just social media, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to do it, just searching the internet. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna go live, but as a bride. Be right back.